Hello, and welcome to my second ever Bedwars tutorial. If you haven't already, you should check out the last Bedwars tutorial episode I did so that you're caught up and ready to go along with this tutorial. In last week's tutorial, we covered how to remove the entirety of the end island and add this middle island. And in today's tutorial, we're going to be covering how to add all the other islands that surround this middle island. So let's jump right into it. To start off, you're going to want to come to this website, which is donatestudios.com. We used this in last week's episode as well, and there will be a link to this website down in the description below. This website is really good at making different pixelated circles for Minecraft, and it's really easy to follow. Now, if you can, try to donate to this website because they do some pretty awesome stuff, but for the 4 player islands surrounding that middle island, we're going to be using a 31 by 31 circle. The reason we don't just use a 30 circle is because there's this defined middle point, and it's a lot nicer to have that defined middle point than have it be not that big, have it be a double defined point. It's just a lot easier when it comes to building it. Once you have the circle generator open, you're going to want to come down to one of the edges of your main circle, count 6 blocks over to the center, because that's where the center of your edge is, and you're going to want to build out 30 blocks. Once you've built out 30 blocks, you're going to want to place your 31st block right there and destroy all the other blocks that you've already placed. You should get something that looks like this, and you're going to want to do that with the 4 other corners. So I'll see you back here once you've done that. Once you're done with that, you should have something that looks like this, with the 4 blocks on each edge of this main circle. Now the next thing you're going to want to do is come to these individual blocks. We'll just jump to this one over here, but it doesn't really matter where you start. And you're going to want to start using that little diagram that I showed you of the pixelated circle, so the 31 by 31 circle. So start building that on each of these blocks, with this being the top block. So when you're all done making the outline, it should look like this for one of the islands. And if you come down here, this is the block that we originally started with. And the next step is just to fill in this island and do the other 3. Once you're all done with that, you should end up with something that looks like this, with the 4 islands surrounding the middle island, with 30 blocks in between each of them. Now, after you finish this step, we're going to move on to adding a few more islands just in between each of these smaller islands that we've created. The first step of making these smaller islands is marking out the 4 opposing corners of this middle island. Now you can see I've marked out the first 3, but for this last one I just wanted to show you how to do it. So you come over to each side and you just want to map out roughly where the middle of this section is. So if we just mark there and there, we know that those 2 spots are the same. And so looking at this, we can tell that this is probably the middle, and you can double check just by making sure that these 2 parts look the same on either side. And so now that we have the middle marked out, you want to come down here and start building out. You're going to want to go out 15 blocks diagonally. Once you've done that, you should have something that looks like this. It's 15 blocks long, and all you need to do is do it with the 3 other corners now. Once you have your map looking like this, you're going to want to go back to the Pixel Generator's website and type in a 15 by 15 circle. And we're going to be attaching these to the end of the little pillars that we branched off of the middle island. And I'll show you how to do that right now. So what you'll want to do is come to the end of one of these little rods and have your Pixel Generator open. And you'll want to have this block right here so you can break the few other blocks. We'll be breaking the rest of it soon, but you'll want this block to be this corner piece on your circle. And so you can start building the shape around it, so you can see that we built this little corner piece that's on it, and then we can just start building the rest of it based off of that little piece. So we extend that out, then we extend this out, and now we have the little bottom corner of the circle. And then all you have to do is just finish building the circle based off of that corner piece. Once you have the circle created, you can just break off the rest of this rod. We just use it to get that 15 block distance, this being the 15th block right here. And all you have to do is fill in the rest of this block with endstone and then do the other 3 rods. Just remember that use this corner piece based off of what I showed you on the Pixel Generator, and you should be able to create these little islands in the right spots. Once you're all finished with that, you should have something that looks like this, with the main island, the 4 bigger player islands, and then your 4 little islands in between those player islands. Now, I think I'm going to add a few more islands around these smaller islands as well, just behind, kind of in between these smaller islands and the player islands themselves. So I'll show you how to do that. To create the next set of islands, what you're going to want to do is come to the corner of this circle we created, and you're going to want to line up the section that's facing towards the player island. So for this side it would be this. If we were to do this side, it would be this one because it's closest to that island. Just for an example, we're going to do this side. But what you want to do is you want to build out 15 blocks. After you've done that, you're going to want to build out 6 this way. And then you can destroy all the other blocks except that one block that we just placed there. Now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to pull up that pixel generator once more and type in an 11 by 11 circle as shown on screen, and you're going to want to use that same corner that's shown on screen to dictate how we create the rest of this circle. So we have those pieces placed, and then we just keep building it from there. And once you're done, you'll have a circle that looks like this. So now all you have to do is make the other 7 that go in between each player island and smaller island. Keep in mind that while you're doing this, the positioning of all of these islands don't have to be perfect, but it does make the whole map look a lot better if everything is symmetrical. So at the very least, if you're not quite understanding my instructions on how to do the positioning, just try to make the islands symmetrical to each other so that it all kind of comes together. And after you've done completing and filling in all those little baby islands, it should look something like this. And with that, we have completed the layout of this Bedwars map. And that's gonna do it for today's tutorial. If you enjoyed this tutorial and would like to continue moving on with this series, please leave a like and subscribe so that you don't miss future tutorial episodes, and put your bell on just so that you get notified as soon as the next tutorial comes out. And with that, I'll see you in the next one.